Now look, you know I am basically a spice nerd, and I just love taking raw ingredients and just giving them a little bit of a bang, which is why I am here at the Siren Brewery Tap Yard. Look, it's only 10 o'clock in the morning, but hey, it's beer o'clock somewhere in the world, and I am in search of a beer or two that I can use in some recipes that I know you're gonna love. Oh my word, this is incredible. Wow. What is this place then?
So this is our barrel store. This
Yeah.
is it's the largest single stack barrel store in Europe. This is where we age a lot of our really strong beers. So we're talking things like our Imperial Stouts, things like Dark and Perilous Nights are some of our famous ones. Maiden.
Oh, yeah.
So Maiden is our barrel-aged barley wine. It was the first beer we ever brewed.
Tell us a little bit about kind of these barrels.
We have bourbon barrels, you've got rum, you've got tequila, you've got whiskey, you've got sherry, you've got Madeira, and all those different spirits, all those different types of wine, they contribute to the flavours that are in the barrel. Okay. And then when we put the beer into the barrel, the beer is absorbing those flavours that have been left behind by the previous wines and spirits.
So those flavours from those barrels that have had rum, tequila, etc., all of that sort of stuff, all of that just infuses and influences what's in the cask.
What the finished product is, yeah.
I want to do like a spiced fish and chips, or my remix of that.
Yeah.
What would you suggest we put in the batter?
Well, for the batter, I definitely recommend Pastel Pils. So that's our Pilsner. It's something we use in our batter at the pub for our fish and chips. So yeah, Pastel Pils would absolutely be the go-to. It's got that carbonation you want for a beer batter. And yeah, it's got that nice, real crisp flavour in there that'll really make the fish and chips sing. So
are we drinking the Pastel Pils as well as cooking with it?
Well, now normally I would say yes. I would say yes. You want to use whatever beer you've used in the batter, you want to drink as well.
Yeah.
But with your twist on it, I think we need to do a twist on that as well.
Okay.
So instead of using Pastel Pils, I would suggest we use Soundwave. You know, it's tropical flavours, really beautiful bitterness from the hops, grapefruit and things like that. And I really think those flavours are all going to cut through the spiciness.
Okay, so my little request is, every good chef needs to taste their ingredients.
I can see where this is going, yeah.
Come on, I'm in your hands. You lead the way.
Well, I think we'll start off with Pastel Pils. Really crisp flavours in there.
Yes.
Really fresh. Lots of flavours from the malt.
So I'm going to use that in the batter. That's what you're suggesting.
Yeah. It's not going to compete with the flavour of the fish. It's going to complement it. You don't want something like, you wouldn't use a stout in a beer batter. It'll be too much. It'll be too much.
Too heavy.
Too heavy, yeah. That'll be fighting with the flavour of the fish.
Yeah.
What we want is something that's going to go really well with it, that's going to complement it, and that's going to add to the flavour.
I can't wait to use this, because
I
I'm
can't
enjoying
wait to
drinking it.
Yeah.
Right, so where do we go next?
So we've got our batter sorted. The next thing to do is what we're going to drink with the fish and chips. So I'm going to suggest Soundwave, which is our flagship IPA. The bitterness you're going to get from that, the tropical hop flavours. People talk about a lot about wine and food pairing. For me, beer is a far better thing to pair with food, because every time you're drinking, those bubbles are scrubbing away all the residual flavours in your mouth. Then when you're going back and taking that second bite, it's like you're having your first bite every single time. And then you've also got the wonderful flavours afterwards of the beer as well. It never becomes samey. It's always fresh and new.
Hey, you know what? This, having just had a sip, I can taste all of those scrubbing bubbles, but you know what's happening in my mouth? This is a beer jacuzzi. That is what's going on here. That is amazing. I think this is going to go perfectly.
I think so too.
With some spice as well.
Yeah, a bit of spice in there.
Dude, thank you so much for making today happen.
Thanks so much
for coming. I
for
can't wait to get into the kitchen. I have just had the best morning because I'm fresh back from the Siren Brewery and they've given me a couple of goodies. So here I have the Pastel Pils. That is fantastic because that is what I'm going to cook with. That's going into our spicy fish and chips batter. And I know we talk about Indian food being Britain's favourite cuisine, but you know what? I love classics, fish and chips. So I'm not here to beat up traditional classics like fish and chips. I'm here to spice it up, and that is what we're going to do today. So what we need is some flour, some corn flour, some spices, and that is going to make a very special batter. So here we go. Now I am going to be fairly precise about all of these ingredients, but you'll find the full recipe under the video, and you can check out that recipe in full or grab the recipe card. But I'm going in with about 50 grams of just plain flour. Okay, now to that I'm also going to add another 50 grams of corn flour, because we want loads of that kind of batter to come up lovely and crispy. That's why I'm adding the corn flour. But we need to add some spices, right? Okay, here we go. I'm going to take some chilies, fresh green chilies, just chopped up, into our mix. 1 teaspoon mustard seeds. You've got to have mustard seeds. They give you that warmth, they give you that texture, got everything there that you kind of want. I go in with a teaspoon of baking powder. That's what's going to give us the rise that we're looking for. A little bit of turmeric. Now here's the thing, you know, turmeric gets used in batter generally for fish and chips. Did you know that? We're going to add it just to give us a little bit of colour, but also it gives us all of those kind of properties, that sort of slightly kind of tanginess that you get from turmeric. And into that with just, oh yeah, just a little bit of paprika as well. So I'm going in with that. Why? Because I want a bit of smokiness. Now, here's the very special thing, a little bit of our pastel peels. What this does is you get the effervescence and all of that kind of flavour. Oh my goodness, that just sounds like popping candy in a bowl, that does. Okay, gone in a little bit more generous, but hey, it's a friendly measure. And to that, we need some sparkling water. I love it. This is just like being back in chemistry in school. Okay, gonna add, now we've added all of that in, but we do need a little bit of salt as well. A little bit of salt for good measure. And into that now, I'm going to give that batter a lovely kind of mix up. Now here's the thing with the batter. I'm going to keep mixing it thoroughly because I want to make sure there's no lumps in my batter. Now I'm not quite happy with the consistency of our batter, so I'm going to whisk it a little bit as well. So I just want to break up some of those lumps with a whisk. What you can see is it's charged with this lovely kind of almost kind of sunset kind of glow. That's what we want with our batter. It's got the turmeric that's working overtime. You got the paprika, those mustard seeds that will just give it a little bit of texture and some warmth as well. And they'll be kind of jigging and popping. When the fish gets coated in this batter, fry up really, really nicely. Going to add just a little more flour into this mix. So I want to make sure we've got a really lovely consistency. And once it rests for a little bit and sets, it will come together. Now, fish and chips. We've got our spicy batter. I'm going to be using today for our fish, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm not going to be taking a whole fish fillet or cod or hake or anything like that or place. No, what we're going to do is going to do this as little almost kind of like fish bites, because this batter, it's similar to like a pakora, and you might have seen, for example, the pakora batter that I did with our Brussels sprout pakoras. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some salmon bites, and that's just salmon, skin taken off. We dunk it in this batter, little small pieces, So they're little bites. So it means you've got some chips, you've got a dip, and you've got some little salmon bites. It's really easy, and it's sharing food as well. I'm gonna pop that in our fridge for about half an hour. Now we need to get busy with our chips. So what I'm gonna do is just take some potatoes, and these are just homemade chips, right? So I'm just using some floury potatoes, ordinary potatoes, all-rounders. You can use Maris Pipers, whichever kind of chip that you find does the job for you. And then what we do, just slice them up into just some homemade pieces. And those fries, those potatoes, I'm gonna cook in boiling water for about kind of like 2-3 minutes, something like that. Not because I want to cook them all the way through, it's just because I want them to be a little bit tender, just at the edges, because then when we dust them in some flour, a little bit of turmeric as well, bung them into the oven for about sort of 25-30 minutes or so, they'll come out lovely and crispy. Oh yes, that is looking like that looks good. Can I tell you why it looks good? Because when I do that, just got a little bit of a wobble in there. Hey, look at that. Yes, I've got my little salmon bite, and all you can see is I've just removed the skin. Look at that. Just looks gorgeous, just as it just gently sinks into the batter. I know I'm getting all poetic, but I do love when you put ingredients together and you see how they react and they respond to each other. Just sometimes it's just beautiful to see. So you want to just give them just a gentle coating. And I'd love your feedback as well. I kind of want to know how you get on with this recipe. It's great to watch them, but what I want to know is how you get on with them. And also in the comments, apart from you loving, sharing and subscribing to these recipes and our channel, I want to know what you want to see next, right? Because I am on this mission to spice up the food that we know and love. Now let me just test our oil. How do we test our oil? You know, it's the drop test. And that is looking spot on. That is what we're looking for. Okay, now in with our salmon. And what we're going to do is move this around the pan as it's cooked, sort of fairly quickly, and then just going to move them around the pan to make sure that all parts of the batter are getting cooked all the way through. Now what I'm seeing in here is little flecks of mustard seeds poking through the batter. Now here's the other thing, you know, this kind of recipe also works well with other kind of like really good stand-up meaty fishes. So for example, if you wanted to go with monkfish, or you wanted to take swordfish or something along those lines, or tuna, you could do that. It just needs to be a firmer fish. And also it means that you just have flavour on flavour. You know, you got a super spiced batter, and then you've got the flavour of the fish itself. Nothing too bland, you know. Life is short. We want to have an adventure with our food every day. That's how we want to live our lives. And that's what these recipes are about. It's about delicious living. Martin, I'm really excited by these, because I can hear the salmon bites, our fish, getting lovely and crispy and crunchy. Look at that.
Can I have one now?
This will be like lava in your mouth. You can't have one. But you can do in a minute. You can do in a minute. I promise you.
I want one, just one of those and a slurp of that beer.
Look at that.
And then I can go home happy.
Yeah. Now we're going to just take those out. let them rest, drain on a little bit of kitchen towel, bit of paper kitchen towel, because they're going to carry on just cooking for a little bit. Check that out. Those are looking amazing. Just dust a little bit of chaat masala over our fries. So what is chaat masala? Chaat masala is like smoked Indian salt. Not necessarily the right thing. You can cook with it, but it's really best enjoyed over kind of vegetables, just as a little sprinkle. And what they've got, the reason it's called chaat quite literally means to lick. So these are like finger licking spices. That's kind of what we're going for here. Those boys at the Siren Brewery, they know what they're doing, because that pastel peels, I can taste that coming through the batter, that kind of citrusy kind of hint that comes through along with the spice, and then the Soundwave IPA. It's such a brilliant combination, I've got to say. That together with our remixed fish and chips. Guys, it's a tough job. Someone's got to do it, hey? That is amazing. All of those flavours. It's alchemy. That's what's happening. That is what's happening. It's alchemy. Chaat masala fries. This is definitely the future. Oh, yeah. Dog glum. Martin, you can help yourself now to the pack shot. We're finished.